Hey, hi everyone, welcome back. So guys, as part of the previous session, we have seen a simple example on a get, right? So let us see a couple more examples on a get itself. So if you look at the sample endpoints that we have seen there, basically there are three different sets on a get, among which we pick the first one. Right. So let us study an example of a second and as well as a third on a get, and also let us try to retrieve the output from that particular JSON. Okay. So as and when you are hitting an endpoint, you are getting an API output as a JSON, right? Let's from that particular JSON, let's try to retrieve some values also. Let us see how exactly we can deal with it. So let's get started with a single get object. So this is the URL. So whenever you hit this particular URL, this is what the response body that it's being populated. Copy the URL. I have created a simple program and I just placed this one. That's it, guys. I haven't changed anything as of now. I just placed this URL in it. Okay. Upon placing that particular URL, we are storing that particular response. And if at all you want to print that particular response, the only thing that you need to do is a console.log await. So what you need to do right now from the response, you want to get it a JSON basically, right? From the response, you want to get it as a JSON. So what it's going to happen right now? So let me try to run this program and check it out what it's being printing done. So this is a printing the JSON response. Perfectly all right. What I want to do right now here is in this particular response, I want to get the name, which is Apple MacBook Pro 16, and I want to store it in a variable. So what we are doing, so this is what the API response is. From the API response, you are getting one field value, one variable value. How exactly we can get that? As we have seen that the complete API response is already stored here in a response. Now, instead of printing this particular one, this I'm storing in a where response data is equal to. So whatever the response data, the complete JSON, this whole JSON is stored in this particular response data variable. Perfectly all right. And in order to retrieve this particular information, the only thing that you need to do here is where, okay, value, okay, value, response value, maybe where, um, name, okay, name value is equal to from the response data directly. I want to get a name, okay, in the response data. So this is an of object type. In that particular object, you have a just a ID and a name. So directly I'm using a name. And right now, console.log, okay, I'm trying to print this particular name value. Okay, I'm trying to print this particular name value. Let me try to run this particular program. See here, whatever the name value is there, it got a retrieved and the name value got a printed down to the console. Perfectly all right. So additionally, what I want to do right now here is let me try to print the response data once again. Okay, let me try to print the response data once again to see the next value that I want to retrieve. So Surendra, you are retrieving this particular name, which is perfectly all right. If I want to retrieve some data like this, which is okay, the year or a price or a CPU model or a hard disk, which all these values are inside the data, how exactly I can get it? See, basically, inside the response, there is a data object, basically JSON object. Inside the data, you have a price. So the simple thing that we can do right now here is, okay, where manufacturing year is equal to in the response data, you have a data object. See here, this is the data object, hence a data object in which I want to get that year. That's it. I just want to get that particular year. This time I want to print the name and as well as a manufacturing year. Let me try to run this particular program and check it out. See, this values got a retrieved and these values got a printed down to the console, which is a perfectly all right. So if you look at this example, this is a single object that it is being printing down. That's perfectly all right. If you look at the another API endpoint, so this is what the result is. Okay, let me copy this result and the JSON formatter. Let me paste this response here so that we can understand how exactly, this is showing it up. See, if you look at it basically, the response that you are getting it in an array format. And an array, this is a first value set, and this is the second value set, and this is the third value set, so on. We have a multiple sets of a data. So how exactly we can get this information and how exactly we can play with this particular API? Okay, so let me copy this piece of a code, put it down here, and this time I'm naming it as a get 3, and this time I want to execute only this one. Okay, perfectly all right. Change this URL to this API endpoint URL. Okay, perfectly all right. Now this time what I'm doing here is I'm getting my response, but this time the response we are getting in an array format. So here in an array, this is what my first set is. Array starting with an index as a 0. So here in the response data of the 0th index of the 0th index, get the name. Okay, and consider that if you look at it basically, this is of my second set. And my second set is having a name as a Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 2. So here I'm changing it to index of 1. As and when you change the index as a 1, this is pointing to this one. And this one, which is having a data inside which the color is a brown. So here inside the response of a 1, I'm just changing it to the array here of a 1. So what it's gonna point here, the color. I want to get the color from the data. So here the data and the color. So here from the first set of the response, the data and the color. Now let me try to run this program and check it out basically. See here the Samsung Jet Fold got a retrieved and the brown also retrieved. That's what we were expecting, and the same set of a data is being populated. So this is the way how exactly we can retrieve the information from a get. In the next session, we will be looking at how exactly we can deal with a post. Okay, perfectly all right. See you again in the next lecture. Thank you. Bye bye.